Season 48, war number 3, and we're up against Elite BR, and this time my team will be Toad, White Tiger and Werewolf by Night. I will be taking Path 8 in Section 1, Path 7 in Section 2, then I will be taking Gorr and Bullseye mini-bosses, along with that Onslaught boss using Werewolf by Night. Unfortunately, the only werewolf fight this time around will be that Onslaught boss, but I will be using him more in upcoming wars, which is nice to say the least. Now, starting off here, we have a Titania on the Snowballing Fury and no hit mercy nodes, and I will be taking this fight with Toad. Now, this fight is basically a nothing fight. It is only Titania with basically no additional nodes since she is immune to buffs. And that means that the only real defensive threat here is the Haymaker, so all you gotta do is just bait it out, dance around for a few seconds while it's active, and then you're just free to hit her as much as you want for roughly 30 seconds, and then just repeat until she drops. With Toad here, the game plan is to just spam Special 1, stack up the prowess, get some nice, well, hopefully some nice crits with the Special 1, and just repeat the process until the fight is done. That's about all there really is to it. There is no risk of dying to this fight whatsoever. Last season with the root tactics, Titania was a lot scarier due to the, well, root, the unblockable specials, as well as the huge damage boost the defenders got. But here, without those things, yeah, Titania is not really much of a defender. Now, this fight can be taken with anyone. I went in with Toad, just because, no real reason, but he's doing pretty well. I tried to go for a special 2 to finish it off here, but I didn't land a single critical, so that was nice. Just about sums up most of my Toad fights anyways. My crit RNG is usually pretty bad, but overall the fight was extremely simple, and yeah, Toad didn't have any issues with it. Then next up we have a Galan here on the Snowballing Fury and Personal Space Fury nodes, and I will be taking this fight with White Tiger. Now, I was a little bit worried about this one, simply due to the Personal Space Fury node giving Galan a ton of buffs, potentially, and that would lead to him triggering the Harvest, dealing some basically unavoidable damage to me. So we went ahead and used Advanced Power Boost to start with a bar of power to get my special 2 faster, and then I just gotta spam a few of those, and the fight is over before Galan even gets to throw a single special. Looking back, I was definitely a little bit too worried about that one. White Tiger hits very hard, and yeah, even with the Personal Space Fury node, Galan didn't really have a chance to trigger the Harvest, and even if he did, a single Harvest would not be enough to finish White Tiger off, and I can heal her up even without potions in the next matchup I have with her, being the Hulkling after this Attuma. The nodes here are the Mega Stand node along with Second Wind Unblockable, and I'm taking the fight with Toad. Honestly, not too much to mention about this one either. Attuma is not a tactic defender, so fighting him is not really a problem. I will be taking some chip damage here from the Thorns damage, but that's unavoidable with most champions. Either way, Toad does have the damage to take him down before he takes me down. Essentially my game plan is to just knock him down fairly often whenever the Mega Stand protection is back, to remove it, and then just spam Special 1, get some poisons up, and hopefully convert them into passives whenever Attuma shrugs them off by dashing in either direction. Now, the passive poison RNG here for me has been pretty horrible so far, which, well, again, as per usual, my RNG with Toad is not the greatest, but overall, this Attuma isn't really doing anything. The chip damage is there, I will have to use some potions, but overall his kit is simple enough to play around. Though there, he did get the Unstoppable with his Special 1. I could have removed it early by landing a single parry on him, but I didn't want him to trigger more concussions, leading to even more chip damage, so I went the longer route and just waited it out. Worked out okay, and on to the next fight. Here we have a Hulkling on the Second Wind Unblockable and Power Creep nodes, and I will be taking this fight with White Tiger. And as previously shown, she is an extremely good counter to Hulkling. Essentially all I gotta do is just get the special 2, throw it, the bleed will prevent his healing, steal it for myself, and when it expires, it nullifies all the regen buffs on the opponent, giving me another special 2 immediately due to Mystic Dispersion. When there is the indestructible active, the bleed is paused, so you will not lose any damage on it while you're waiting it out, so you can just simply keep repeating this process over and over again until he drops, which he does very quickly. And throughout all of that, even if I did get some chip damage by blocking hits or even eating some hits, the regen steal would have been enough to basically keep me topped up anyways, making White Tiger an extremely safe option for him as well. And now here we have a Gorr on the Mega Stand and when I open Miniboss node, and I will be taking this fight with White Tiger. Now I already took this guy on the first war of the season. It didn't go too well, but at least I didn't die to the fight, and this time hopefully my game plan is a little better. I go for some parries at the start to stack up the prowesses for the tactic, so I don't have to worry about the indestructible, then a simple parry heavy to remove the protection, and now just spam some special 2s. Now I didn't get the precision off for the special, which meant that I was gaining less power from the Mystic Powerback boost due to not landing as many criticals, but that's fine. I just gotta play this fight slow, manage the prowesses on myself, and that's about all I really need to worry about here. As long as I never let the indestructible stack up at any point in this fight, I'm the one in control, and Gorr can't really do anything to me. He can try inflicting all the damage in debuffs he wants, but as soon as I get a special 2 off, I simply just heal it all back with the health steal. And that's about all there is to this fight. It's not the fastest matchup when it's played this way, but this is a lot safer than the simple nuke strat I had last time, and my health is being topped up with every single special 2. Now the AI in this fight has not been the greatest, he's being very stingy with those specials, and that is forcing me to land some dexes here and there, which was consuming my prowesses, so I did my best to land some blocked hits whenever possible, to stack them back up so I would never run out. Overall the fight went very well this time around, no real issues whatsoever. Now I gotta say, White Tiger, once again the health steal is overpowered in the matches that it can be used properly, and that is just an excellent example of how, well, overpowered her kit can be at times. But it is very situational. Then next up here we have a Bullseye on the Stunning Reflection and Polka Dot Power Miniboss node, as usual, and I will be taking this fight with Toad. Now I have the Advanced Power Boost active, getting me that first special 1 off early, which activates the Regen passive on Toad, which has a name which I can't remember. Either way, while you have the Regen passive active, any contact with the opponent can inflict those Toad's poison debuffs on them, which is extremely useful for this node. You wanna stack up as many of them as possible, so you get constant Polka Dot power gain, and then you also have some damage going in, and whenever, of course, Bullseye here dashes in either direction, it has a chance to convert into a passive which deals a ton of damage. Also, whenever he dashes around and shrugs off the poisons, I get a prowess, increasing my special damage further, as well as increasing the damage on the passive poison as well. Overall, Toad does shut down the node very well here. The poisons do put the Stunning Reflection on cooldown, allowing you to parry, well, most of the time in the fight, and as long as you can land your parries on the special 1 and manage the Stunning Reflection node, Toad is an excellent option for the fight, though it can go very wrong if the AI is playing horrible, or if you make even the slightest mistake. And now here we have the final fight of the war, an Onslaught boss that I will be taking with Werewolf by night. The previous time I had to take this matchup I was using my 6-star rank 5 Werewolf, but since then I have acquired a 7-star Werewolf who is now also rank 2. So a bit of an upgrade from the last time, and essentially my game plan is the same as it was back then. just hit the block with your first medium, stack up the prowesses, and then howl whenever it is ready to get some power gain, get the special 2 that way, and then just let it rip while you have the curse active as well. Now that was a single special 2 from Werewolf, and this Onslaught is already below 70%. The damage on this guy is pretty nuts, to be honest. And with this playstyle, the matchup is very safe. Since I'm only hitting into Onslaught's Onslaught's block, he's not gaining too much power, and that means I don't have to bait as many specials. Now the great thing about that is, well, the fact that Onslaught specials are his main defensive threat. They are very annoying to decks, but with some practice you can get them down consistently, and that's essentially what I had to do to, well, learn to fight him. Took a while, but at this point I am fairly comfortable with the decks, and I can just, well, either special 1 or special 2, doesn't make a difference. I am fairly confident I can get the decks done 95% of the time, I would say. And at this point, yeah, 2 special 2s in, Onslaught is down to close to 30%, 1 more special 2, and that should do it. Now at this point the curse on Werewolf is not expiring whenever I'm far away or landing hits into the block. The reason for that is the amount of buffs the opponent has. If they have enough buffs, then the curse will be paused whenever you're attacking the opponent or whenever you are outside of the striking distance, and that allows a huge uptime on it, allowing you to have that passive regen on basically at all times, and also increasing your damage output quite a bit. Now it just took 3 special 2s and this Onslaught boss dropped, and I gotta say Werewolf is very strong, and he's very fun to use as well. I love his animations. The only issue I have with him is the fact that the AI can re-parry against double medium champions, and that makes him borderline useless against this defense tactic, despite being a tactic attacker himself. You can't really go spamming light attacks into the opponent's block, otherwise you run the risk of getting re-parried and just completely destroyed by a combo or a special or whatever else. As for the results, we did end up winning the war 65-16. So once again a great start to this season, and though our death count could stand to go a little bit lower going forward, but we'll see how it goes.